Welcome back to Par for the Course. I'm Rod, and it's been a while since I've come with a pre-scripted, recorded video. Been doing a lot of lives lately, but we're back at it again. I just recently returned from a golf trip in Las Vegas, which is an annual trip for me and my guys. Typically, when you pack for a golf trip, it's a bit of trial and error, and it takes some getting used to finding out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I wanted to come and bring some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. 10 years traveling for golf trip, and I know there's people out there that have been traveling for a lot longer than that, but in addition to some pleasure trips and traveling for work where I'm taking golf clubs, it's a different animal rather than packing your clubs in a car week to week, going to your local course where you play, versus packing for a trip where you're going to get your clubs ready for an airline and handling. Just some things that I've learned over my time traveling with golf clubs and things that have helped alleviate the headaches. So first of all, when you're thinking about traveling, you have to decide between a hard or a soft shell case. And there are people that swear by both on either side of that equation. Me, myself, I am a soft shell case person. Up until this year, and I finally decided to buy a new one, have been living with a soft case. I bought a Bag Boy soft case for my first golf trip with my brother back in 2013. We went to Myrtle Beach, and yeah, we were horrible back then. But the soft case has been holding up for me ever since that point, and there's not been a year outside of maybe the 2020 year that I didn't travel for a golf trip. You know, that case has held up very well through multiple airlines, different ones that handle baggage differently, and it's held up spectacularly. You know, some outer damage and scuffs in terms of, how it looks aesthetically, but in terms of the function, this bag has done me well. And so I upgraded to a different bag, very similar in terms of the construction. Price point, I was looking for something around 150. This one was 149.49 at PGA Superstore, local to me. And the bag did what I expected it to do. One little cut in the bag. But overall, my clubs have done very well. And I've never had a damaged club or had a club head break off or any damage to my equipment while traveling. And there's a few things that I do to help alleviate that. And, airlines really don't give a damn about your bag, which was interesting when I checked in with Southwest this year. Leaving Las Vegas, the young lady that took my bag said, "We don't guarantee for soft cases." It's the first time I'd ever heard that said. So apparently they've been having some issues, but it was the first time that this had been said out loud. People buy the hard shell cases. To me, from a storage standpoint, I don't like them. I keep mine in my attic when I'm not traveling, and so it's easy to fold up, and I can just put it back up there in a few folds, save some space, and it's easy up and down out of the attic. I enjoy the soft for that reason, but again, some people swear by the hard cases, but again, for getting around storage, again, when I go on golf trips with my guys, it's multiple people. We're usually in a van or an SUV, and so when you leave the airport, getting those hard cases into a vehicle can be a little difficult when you're traveling with multiple people. If it was me solo most of the time, I can see that. But when we're going somewhere with multiple bags, it can be quite difficult to navigate with the hard shell case. That's why I do not advocate for them. But if you're a solo or maybe a dual traveler and you have a little more versatility and space, hard shell cases are great. And of course, just from a protection standpoint, I absolutely get it. People swear by them, will put their kids' lives on the line for a hard shell case. However, for me, I've found some workarounds for the soft case that make it make sense for me. Again, I mentioned the storage when I'm not utilizing the case, but also people will spring for a backbone. It's a little thing that goes in your bag and keeps the top of the soft case up at the top. And I found a cheap workaround for that. A tennis ball with a hole cut in it. Simply drill a hole in it. Use a stick from, an alignment stick, and I utilize one that I bought from Home Depot. Cost me like a couple bucks, and a tennis ball for less than $3 or so. I had a backbone, and it's been going through multiple trips and keeps that bag, propped up and out of danger. Tip number 2 that I've always done, prior to even utilizing that in the case, is to take the heads off of my woods. Always take a picture so you know what your settings are on your clubs. But my hybrid 3-wood and driver, the heads come off and then they go on the side of my bag. And, I don't leave those exposed and ready to be snapped off. It just doesn't make sense. Even, with the tennis ball and alignment rod, that driver head goes above that, so it would be in danger. So to just alleviate that, take that variable out of the equation, I just remove the heads every time. Again, making a note of my settings with my camera, so when I land, I throw them back on and I'm good to go. Rinse, wash, and repeat, coming back home. Another thing that I'll do to help protect my clubs, adding another layer, is using my rain cover inside of the bag as well. So you see a lot of pictures on like the Reddit golf forum with people's bags being drug or whatever the case may be. And I always wonder how that happens with multiple layers of protection. If you're utilizing a soft travel case, it has the padding on the side, particularly around the heads. And one feature that I liked about this new bag that I purchased, it has 2 straps internally to secure your clubs within the bag. You can firm that down pretty tight. Previous bag that I had for Bag Boy only had 1 strap near the mid part of the bag. This one has 1 at the top and bottom. So very secure, simple pouch in the front for storage. I love this bag and I swear by my soft case. So that's the number one decision that you have to make when you first start traveling with your golf clubs. You need some protection for your stuff. You have to figure out what's the right case for you. The next thing that I do with my bag to prepare for a golf trip is lighten it up. You'd be amazed at how many things you accumulate in your bag throughout the year. Like me, I keep like a handful of broken tees just for par 3s, but those tend to add up because I just throw them in the bag, forget about them. Pencils, that I just throw in my bag as well after a round. Those things just start to accumulate in your bags. Random balls that I pick up on the course for like range balls, just to hit around if I'm BSing at the end of a practice round. I end up putting those things in my golf bag. And when it comes to a trip, I want to go as light as possible. One, for the weight on the airlines, but also just I don't like to lug around, a heavy golf bag. Again, you're thinking about when you get to an airport, you're having to go to a rental car, an Uber, whatever the case may be, and you're lugging this bag around. It becomes a bit heavy when you add in your shoes if you're putting them in your golf bag. All kinds of different things can add weight to your golf bag. And so before you get out on the road, go evaluate your bag. Do you have crap in there that you never use? Ball markers, pins, whatever the case may be. Clean it up, go light. It'll help your shoulder and back out later, especially when you're getting multiple rounds in and a limited amount of day in. Also, the type of golf bag that you have, as much things that you can store inside those pockets and keep from kind of hanging and dangling if it's a rangefinder. I always put those things inside of my bag. You just never know if TSA is going to dig through your stuff and they're just not going to be as meticulous as you are in taking care of your golf bag. So as many things as I can bring internal, even towels I've had get detached during a TSA inspection. This most recent trip, I put some scorecards in my bag on an outside pocket that was kind of exposed. I'm missing a couple of them. They weren't really important, but it just was something that I took note of, and, I violated my own rule. Instead of zipping it up and putting in a pocket that was protected, and those scorecards ended up getting lost. Another thing that I always do is kind of when I'm dressing and packing my travel bag outside of the golf clubs is getting outfits that are in the same color family. Even for a 4 or 5 day golf trip, I'm not taking any more than 2 golf shoes. I've even gone a trip where I've only taken 1 golf shoe, and I try to make all of my outfits versatile within that same golf shoe. Unless you want to go with the Bill Murray style of dress and you don't really care, that's cool. But I like to look a little bit decent when I'm out. So again, try to stick within the same color family. Simplify your dress. You're in an environment that you're not used to, and so you're wanting to make your decisions pretty simple. We were in Vegas, so you're having long nights, and the days continue to drag on, and you're playing early rounds. So you want to make your decision-making process as simple as possible. So trust me, pack simply, keep the color family similar, limited amount of golf shoes. Same thing when you're looking at your kind of post-round outfits. Keep it simple. You want to travel as light as possible on a golf trip and keep your decision making uncomplicated. Is go with people that you're going to have fun with. Get some games together, plan a tournament style that you can throw some money in a pot and have some competition going. Unless you're just going to get crap faced drunk, that's a little bit different. But if you're any bit competitive, it makes sense to have some kind of competition going on with people that you enjoy. There's nothing worse than going on a golf trip with people that you do not like, or that there's one Debbie Downer in the group that's always complaining about something, or the cheater in the group, whatever the case may be, that person that people just tolerate and don't really enjoy being around. If there's a guy in your group like that, disinvite him, kick him out of the group, whatever the case may be. But I guarantee you, you will regret having that person on the trip with you. That's one of the last rules. And the very last one, bring some extra cash for some merch when you're out, just to remember your trip by. Typical thing that I like to get are ball markers, especially the two-piece ball marker. As you can see, this one has the magnet internally. Sometimes they don't have that, so you just end up getting a regular ball marker. Sometimes they don't have a good ball marker, so you end up getting a divot tool, whatever the case may be. Hats, golf balls, there's all kind of merch available in these golf shops, especially if you're going to a place that caters to tourists or that is a golf mecca, whether you're thinking about Myrtle Beach, Florida, Arizona, certain parts of California, Las Vegas. They cater to golf. Branson, Missouri is another one that I can think of that, you're going to find a lot of good merch options. So bring some extra cash for that. That can add up pretty quickly. You end up spending 60, $100 in the golf shop before you even know it, just picking up things that you like. And you just find certain places have cooler stuff than others. So just be prepared for it. And again, you just have fun. You're out there to enjoy yourself with your boys or with your gals and be competitive and play the game that we all love. If you have any tips or tricks that you utilize when you travel playing golf, throw them down in the comment section. I'm always trying to learn as well and make my golf travels easier. Next time you're on a golf trip or it's your first one, hope I can give you some insight, whether that's planning your next travel bag purchase or for your next trip or your first trip, whatever the case may be. Hope this helps you. We'll catch you on the next one. Par for the course. Peace.